Oh, it's working? Oh,
Oh
cool.
my God, so sorry. It
Mhm.
literally just I went onto the app and I was like, I'll just try and press it one more time. And it was like joining meeting. I was like, oh stop. Yes.
Oh, I have no idea why that was happening. I've never experienced that before. I was just about to say, I was like typing to say, I can try sending you the link through email and that might fix it.
Yeah. I'm
But
thinking because it was like a when I went on to the Google one, it was like something about like there's different versions of it compatibility, like a
yeah,
global ones or if it's like an Australian one or something. I don't know, but yay.
yeah. I'm glad you're able to get in and we can have our chat. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
I
jumping
know.
on.
No, that's fine. Thanks for having me and reaching out. I was like, okay, no worries.
It's always, I guess. Is this your first podcast?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
crazy though.
yeah, it can always like I guess feel a bit like intimidating or I don't know, not off-putting, but a bit like if you've never done it before, I guess. But
I know, yeah. I feel like I feel like you informally have them a lot, but like,
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
it's like formalized then it's like you did a podcast, but like informally, like I swear we're doing it without knowing, like just through conversation every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. That's why like I try to keep what I do just like really simple, just like we're just having a
Mm,
chat as if like, bumped into each other at the gym or bumped into each other at a show. Just no
yeah,
pressure or anything like that. As casual as possible. I think it makes it more authentic and fun.
100%. Definitely on the money. Yeah, especially if I've never done one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure you'll
Who
be an
knows?
expert. You'll be surprised. Nearly every person I've had on, 9 times out of 10 hasn't done a podcast. And like by
Oh,
the end of
really?
it, they're like, oh, that was nowhere as bad as what I thought it was going to be. So
That's good.
you're in safe hands.
Oh, thank you. Making me less nervous.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, I'd love to kind of take things back before we kind of get into like your recent season and just
Yeah.
kind of help anybody listening and for myself too, how you I guess, got into bodybuilding. Like, what was your journey? Did you do a lot of sports growing up? How did
Yeah.
you kind of get introduced to it?
It's like I've always been involved. So like having like there's no real start date to put on anything like that. Like I'm a twin, so naturally I'm very competitive. Not like severely competitive, but it's in the nature without knowing it, kind of.
Yeah.
But we grew up doing a lot of sport, so like we were very thankful and grateful to go around the country for athletics and internationally for athletics. And that came about like all the way through like primary school, and then we finished that, and my sister went to the com games for long jump. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
really all the way through at like high level, and there was always that aspect of like improvement, wanting to do better, seeing what our limits were, and the high expectation around what we would pursue or what we would count as a good outcome, really.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause naturally, like we would train together, and it would always be, you know, you don't you don't know each other's limits until like you verse someone else,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
we would always be versing each other, and like through training it would just be that's all we knew, and then you'd go out and verse someone else and you're like, oh, okay, that's yeah, all right,
yeah,
that's the standard that we're setting. But like thankfully that was yeah a very athletic output, and naturally came through like coaching and whatnot, and different sport development coaches, and came through like being in the gym a lot, and doing certain specific training, like all your plyometric training and everything really targeted towards what we were doing at that time. And then, so that was like basically all through school and whatnot. And gradually we were within that atmosphere, I guess, to begin with. And then once I moved out of home, I became really involved in touch football, and moved up here, and again like the same involvement, like I did certain things in the gym just to benefit that,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but naturally would always have that background of the plyometrics behind me, or like a good foundation behind me, just to like that fitness baseline, I guess. But then I started like steering, I guess you could say, into that like direction of just the gym when
Yeah.
I started working for a well-known gym on the Gold Coast, and not as a PT or anything, just working in the gym. And I was working with someone who was a PT and had done a few comp preps and whatnot. And um, yeah, that was back in, I think, like 2017 or 2018. So I was a little baby. But yeah, like I was in the gym naturally a lot, and it was just like it just spiked something
Yeah.
about me. I was like, oh, like when's the next, like, you prep people, like tell me a bit about it. When's the next comp? And yeah, he said like, the next one's in 4 months or so. Like, are you keen? I was like, where do I need to sign? What do I do? Like, I really
Yeah.
was so blasé. I had no idea what I was in for. Like, I, yeah, it was very, very strange. And I think that like started the journey for me,
Mhm.
like around that. And then from there, I had that same expectation that I'd been brought up with around setting my own standard. Like, I know what I'm already capable of in the gym and like my strengths and whatnot. So we just need to build from
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
and see, like, around tailoring a few months, dedicating that just to that specific thing, which was eye opening because I've never done that before. Like, it's always been sport orientated
Yeah.
around the gym. So naturally, like, that's where it all, I guess, stemmed from, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Like, it's funny that you say that, I guess you always kind of had a sporting background with and being competitive. So you kind of, without knowing, really built all the characteristics that kind of really help becoming like a great bodybuilder and a great athlete, which is cool. And I think it's so true. Like, I know that's something similar for myself too. Like, going to the gym and being around friends at school that went to the gym, and you just kind of like end up, because I used to play basketball a lot and I did
Yeah.
state competitions, and so kind of got into the basketball the gym to kind of like beef up a little bit so I could play a bit more competitively. And yeah, then just getting absorbed into the gym, and then you kind of see that atmosphere, and then there's always someone in the gym that does bodybuilding,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you kind of
exactly. You
just like,
always walk past and be like, "Oh, I wonder what, like, I wonder what they're doing." Like,
yeah, yeah,
I like back then, wouldn't know like what prep was or anything. Like, I knew bodybuilding was a thing, but like, I didn't know like you'd walk past someone in the gym and they're like 1 week out or something from their stage.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're just like, "Oh, they look good."
Yeah, and then it's not until you kind of do it yourself that you realize like all that hard work and dedication that they put in.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, as you said, like there's layers to it, and yeah, without realizing like it's the years of like what you've been through
Mhm.
that helps actually like foundate, like, like build those steps without even knowing, and then they
Yeah.
build that builds your resilience along the way and you don't even realize that. But yeah, so a lot
What?
of,
Sorry, you go.
yeah, I was just going to say a lot of sport, which is really always like from a country town, really like involved because there wasn't really much else to do. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
That's
was just,
what you kind of end up doing to entertain yourselves.
yeah, yeah, it was literally like you spend your weekends training pretty much, which isn't a bad thing. It's good commitment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is your sister like a bodybuilder as well, or
No, so
she didn't
she,
follow you down that way?
no, not at all. She's a cardio bunny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so,
Were you so with your first coach for your first show? That was with
oh,
Jo- was that with George, or was that?
no. So I've been with George for like 4 years now.
Mhm,
And I, before that was COVID.
mhm.
Um, and I started the prep through COVID, and also I started my second or third prep through COVID, and it did get called off.
Yeah.
That's about 6, 8 weeks out.
Mhm.
And which was a bummer, but also like, I think it was bound to happen. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was through I think his I think his Instagram name is BJ Constable,
Okay.
Bidon. And then before that was I did my first prep through Bryce Kennedy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the PT. I don't think he PTs anymore, but yeah, and it was like a baby ICN prep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Really just good to like get into the game type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like when I say like I had no idea, like I still knew a lot about the gym. Like I was still very involved. I would write my own programs, everything like that, just from knowing like a bit about like being in the gym and
Yeah,
what
yeah.
works and all of the background. But like my first prep, I did my own like macro foods and like my food choices,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
we just like reassess every type of check-in. I'd be making like my own pizzas and like God bless, I would not do that now. Like you just realize you're like, I don't have the time. I don't want to be at the shops
Yeah.
24/7. But I look back and I'm like, wow, how on earth did I do that?
Yeah.
Like, what was happening? Like, I tracked every single thing to a T, whereas like now it's tracked for me and now just follow it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
lazy, but it's so efficient. And if it works, it works.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. I think it's
But
always nice to kind of look back and see each show how you've kind of progressed and what's different and kind of like really reminisce how like I guess the more knowledgeable you get and the more busy you get, like you said, now it's obviously a lot easier having someone that kind of has it all tracked and you can just follow a plan because then it can actually make you a better athlete. Then, like you said, like nothing's worse than going to the grocery shop every day to track
yeah,
every because you want to eat a pizza or you want to eat a burger or whatever it is.
100%. And like that was me. I'd like stress over like, 5 grams of like fats. I'm like, where
Yeah.
am I going to get just fats from? Like, I have to go to the shops. But it'd come down to those small things. But you're so right. I look back and you're like, you realize how far that's come and like I don't know, just the time efficiency
Mm.
of it, the importance of knowing what works for you, and like the relationship between you and your coach around like
Yeah.
checking things in to say what's the best strategy behind those things for you. Because you don't want to add stress if you don't need to. So
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
small things, like people in prep, you get stressed over. So it's like let's
Definitely.
limit that.
So
Yeah.
was that prep that got cancelled? That was when you joined George? You were started that prep with George before it got cancelled, or was it
No,
after? So how did you?
so I started with George. My first prep with George was in 2023.
Mhm.
So we started a bit of an off season. I went to him during an off season, and we I came to him wanting to prep, so not just like as a lifestyle
Yeah.
client or anything. I came to him wanting to prep, and I knew that he had prepped. I'd seen a client that he'd prepped and been following her journey and whatnot, and um, I literally went and met him, did the consult. Like I was just so impressed. Like we clicked straight away. More so in terms of like there was no like full commitment type of thing. It was just what I felt comfortable with at the time, being like in an off season and having, you know, done a few preps, but like also this is going to be different. Like
Yeah.
you need to know each other first. But got nothing from nothing like I couldn't have got more out of that time
Yeah. Yeah.
meeting
Yeah.
meeting him. Yeah, like literally it was everything that I couldn't ask any. I had no more questions to
Yeah.
ask. Like there was, I walked away going, like I think I'm set. Like
Yeah.
I'm locked in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a he was a great athlete when he competed. He's a great coach. He like had an amazing one of the best coaches when he was competing. So you
Yeah,
definitely were
yeah.
able to find someone that allowed you to kind of know you were in good hands.
Oh, 100%. And like every single interaction that I've had regarding, about my coach and like comments around my coach is, wow, like everyone has said amazing things
Yeah,
about him. And there's not one if or but about
yeah,
like anything around his training or his knowledge. And that's the thing with the coach is like, I know that he's always building upon his knowledge and like there's that active skill set around that. And like even when we're backstage, it's like small little like critiques, but around like form pump ups, but
mhm.
it's obviously all jokes. But at the same time, like you can never take the PT out of someone in those.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, it was like the best experience to not. I mean, like to realize like I haven't wasted time around thinking or jumping between coaches, going
Yeah.
like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like I know what works for me, and like we know what works. Like it's bread and butter at this
Yeah.
point.
But that's the goal. Like that's what you want to do, even if it's sometimes I think sometimes jumping between coach can have a negative, like a connotation, but I think it's also important to find someone that you do really gel with and you feel like, you can put your trust into them and then they have the trust in you that, you guys are both going to be compliant to whatever needs to get done. And so it's
Yeah,
great to
that's
hear
so
that you
right.
feel like you found that. And then
Yeah,
it paid off because, you did really well in your debut.
yeah, it was, and it like it couldn't have gone more comfortable around like the effort between the communication styles and like even just the way that his platform is set up
Mhm.
and the like the personalization of it as well. Like we're more, yes, he's my coach, but in terms of like we're mates. So it's like you can jump between both and you respect both of the
Yeah.
different sides of it. But yeah, like we worked really well together, and it was like, I don't know, just small little things I learned straight away. When I knew that I was learning so quickly, like during that phase of just starting with him and like going into that pre-prep phase, I knew that like it was going to be something that I wanted to stick with.
Yeah.
Like I went to him with some back pain to begin with, and like we needed to address that before anything. And small things like just instantly changed that. And you know, like small little adjustments using certain straps in certain ways, as in like wrist straps for lifting. Like I was lifting triple in in 2 weeks of training with him than what I would actually go and try
Yeah.
to at the gym. Like just, and that was that mental barrier as well. Like he helped me with my mental barrier, walking over, starting a RDL set on 30s as
Yeah.
my start sets rather than 17s. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I was used to versus what I was capable of.
Yeah.
So there was that mental jump like nearly instantly, which like I noticed straight away because I was like, what the hell?
Like, how
Like,
did I get so strong?
yeah, like sometimes you need people to tell you like you can do it.
Yeah, yeah,
You
definitely,
can do
definitely.
it.
I think we can put like we sometimes we know how strong we can be or like how much effort we put in, but sometimes just also having someone that can show us to go that little extra mile can make such a difference because then you can go, oh, maybe I was, you know, being a bit too cautious or there was something that
Yeah.
I didn't quite know that I needed now that I do to then make that progress.
100%. And that first prep was like you've almost nailed that on the head there, because that first prep I stuck with it. We did a PT every Saturday together, and it was based around our like most detailed heavy glute leg session of the week. So we made sure we did that every Saturday, and like that was for that extra push. Like that's our push session.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Like that
good.
was that was where we like guaranteed like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
progress. And um like that was a way that I could like kind of in sources of like accountability wise,
Yeah.
like know that I'm getting that, but also it was just good to see him want to see me grow in those sessions every week, because it was the same session every week. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like the physically we can see you like growing and like getting better at this, and then mentally it was like that's my accountability side
Mm.
as well, going through that prep.
Definitely. And I think like that then takes you into like that next week of training, kind of going, okay, I've got that push. I know what to do. I can do it. Things are going well. I've got that accountability.
Yeah.
So then it kind of carries you into that next session. And then all of a sudden you level up again. And then each week you're kind of taking it with you. I think that's really great. I think sometimes, obviously, I think you get to a point where maybe you don't always need that like session with your coach, but I think if you can do it in prep and like they have the time, I think you can definitely utilize it to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, and again, like literally totally relatable, because like 4 years, 3 years down the track, I don't have that regular weekly PT with
Mm.
him. So it's like we've built so far upon that like it was really good to start doing that without realizing.
Yeah.
And now like 4 years down the track type of thing, we've got that relationship and that knowledge around what I'm doing in the program and what he's trying to get me to do. It's just natural.
Mm.
So
That's good. So kind of going from that first show together, getting the success that you did, and then kind of because this was your second competition after that one, is that correct? That this
yeah.
season you just competed?
Yeah, it was 2023, 2022, 23, I think. But
Yeah.
it was my first season with IFBB, and like I was blown away, to be honest with you. Like blown away. I was like, whoa, okay. This is amazing. Like I can't believe what's happened. Like I was so grateful. I was just so on, you know, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I didn't know how many people were involved and following, and like I George is a big name in that industry, as you said. He's competed many times, so at that point, like it was like George doesn't take on many comp clients, so
Yeah.
it was like we had a tight relationship, and everyone, his community that he has was encouraging me, so it was really nice to have that support behind it. And um yeah, it was a great outcome.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's just really nice because again, very big like um competition, and obviously Queensland's always like a big show.
Queensland is always like because I used to go to the Queensland shows before like moving down to Melbourne like 2 years ago, and Queensland was always like the heavy hitters.
Wild.
Was like the big show with all the not to say that like the other shows aren't competitive, but
Yeah,
it was stacked. It was always stacked.
yeah. The big names, the crowds, like
Yeah.
it's just the Queensland show is always going to be hot money. It's
Yeah.
going to be
So
good.
so then I guess before kind of going into the results that kind of happened this season, what was the game plan that you guys kind of put together with after setting the bar high from that first show kind of coming into this season?
Yeah. So after that, we both like sat down, debriefed, and again, like we're so chill around how we communicate and operate. It was kind of like, you know, we like both of us didn't really know. Like I had high expectations because I knew that my last comp I'd come away with some really good results. So I just wanted to build on that and see. And I knew that going into an IFBB, like, the standards are much higher. So going into it as a baby, I was kind of like, you know what, let's just see what happens. And then after we got those results, it was kind of like, it's up to you what you want to do next. Like you do have potential. I'm here for you all the way type of thing. So, we sat back and I knew like there was this thing called an off season. um, and we kind of were like, yeah, let's do a little off season because at this time I was still learning the seasons of the
Yeah.
federation and when it was, what's involved in it, and how long we need as an off season and everything like that. So I did go into like a recovery diet straight away and then went into like an immediate off season in hopes for. So I competed in April and then that was season A, and then I wanted to do season A the next year.
Okay, yeah.
So it was a good time between to build back because I
Yeah.
knew there was certain things, and it was definitely some good time to build there. So we had eyes set for season A last year, and during that time, like we both went through a really, really rough phase regarding like family along the way. So we prepped very hard, and like I gained weight as you do in an off season. Like I probably those 6 to 8 months, like I had the best off season. Like I knew that there were gains made, and I couldn't wait to literally start my cut because I knew that I had built something solid underneath. And I
Always
was
an
just,
exciting feeling.
yeah, I was excited, and George was excited as well. Like we knew that I was going to look different. And yeah, it came around November, December, and things got like very serious regarding my mum and taking time off work and just really balancing like my priorities and family and whatnot. And I ended up like sitting with George, and he completely understood and said, you can only do what you can do, and during this time period, you need to do what you need to do. And I think I called it around January, end of December type of thing, which was still 4 months away from stage. Because I just knew, and the time and balancing, like it was only going to cause more stress during that time period. And so I just really kind of like not stepped back, but I was able to just still diet pretty hard and train really hard. It was just limited around, like not as frequent in the gym. It was like, let's try and get 3 sessions in this week or 4 sessions in this week, because it was me traveling like 4 hours down the coast every weekend or every 3 days. So, and at that stage there was that mental thing as well. Like it was becoming very mentally consuming, and I was using the gym as my escape type of thing, and it was my safe place in a way. And the support is amazing in those circumstances when you have that gym family around you that you see every day. But if you're using it for your escape as well, it's really hard to be in that area where you don't want to cry if someone says, "Are you okay?" In the same as your escape place. So it's like um, it was, yeah, I ended up spending a lot of time basically moving down back home, which is like an hour past Coffs Harbour. And yeah, we pulled the pin on that prep, but we were still checking in and doing everything along the lines to not to let me go, because I knew I was still going to prep.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so we didn't prep season A, but that was okay because I knew like it was very disheartening knowing that I had that solid off season, and I knew
Yeah.
like I was going to look so different, but it didn't stop me from using that time to literally just focus on important stuff. And even when in terms of going back to what I can control around the training and nutrition, it was kind of keeping me sane in a way to just be able to control that if I can't be doing 100% in the gym.
Yeah.
So it was like just control what we can do. And yeah, I think in those circumstances, you it's fine. Like it's good enough. Like you can still do what you need to do. You don't have to train 7 days a week. You don't have to be moving all the time. Like I went through so much growth through that time that it actually helped me
Yeah.
become like get that stamina. So yeah.
Yeah. I think the best thing, and I think a really good mindset to have, is like knowing that that stage is always going to be there. And sometimes,
Yeah.
like, I think life throws curveballs, and instead of kind of like pushing yourself into then trying to balance it all just so you can get back on stage and then maybe not end up performing the way that you want to perform, or life just gets even harder. I think sometimes it's important to kind of go, this time in life, this is what I'm going to focus on, and
Yeah.
then when I'm ready and things start to plan out again, we can get back to that stage. And then in hindsight, you can also then have another really productive off season, really. And then
Yeah.
no matter what, it's undeniable that you're going to then bring the results.
Oh, 100%. And like that paired with like a strong mindset is just like limitless.
Yeah.
And like going down home and like having my mum and like my sister and my dad know that like I gave that up on, deliberately, and
Yeah.
they knew that I had intentions to compete because they would always support that and like support, the portions at dinner and whatnot and everything like that. And, my mum would walk me down the supermarket and pick up the light cheese instead of like the other cheese and
So
everything,
good. So
like
good.
all those things. But yeah, I think like, and George knows as well, like he was one of the first people I told, like losing her in that time helped me build that strength regardless of losing her or not. It was that
Yeah.
time period that helped me build like that mental capacity, like to deal
Mm.
with that as a capacity,
Yeah.
and be able to like put a mature approach on it and like step away from the prep early
Yeah.
and be like, it's always going to be there, as you said. So yeah, that's just the way life, you know, rolls sometimes. But
Definitely.
yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Yes. That's why that saying exists.
I know. It's too true.
So then coming into then this season, so then what was the plan to kind of then try and do season A again for this year, but then it kind of just ended up pushing down
Yeah.
into season C?
So we after like we ended up so yeah, I didn't compete season A this year. I'm just trying to like rewind back. So like everything went down like mid last year, and
Hmm.
then I was able to, after everything went down, I obviously had to like rebuild my just my character, I guess, in regards to like what I can do at the gym without, having a mentee B, or in terms of everything just getting back to normal.
Yeah.
And nothing will ever be normal to me again. Like it's such a big thing to like happen, but at the same time, it allowed me to take that time and rebuild and actually get ready. And we kind of went into a pre-prep phase, um, not quickly, but like sooner than I thought.
Mhm.
And that was totally on my behalf. I was in communications with George throughout the whole time because, as I said, like we're more mates than than a coaching perspective until when it needs to be. But and it's very relatable. Like we have a lot of relatable things that have, we've both been through. So
Yeah.
that's very important to us. And he gave me the time and, the kind of like the guidance as to me coming back into a sense. Like my first step was going to Pilates. Like that was the first thing I started doing was going back to Pilates, not even like doing a workout. It was, and I've never done reformer Pilates. I was like, what am I doing? But like, it was just that small step of getting back into the gym and, taking that time for me again. So I, we kind of sat down and locked in, and then went into like a pre-prep phase end of last year. And I remember going on a holiday in November, and I was in a good surplus, and I was like, I'm in Fiji and I'm in a surplus. This is not ideal, but so that actually we had season what season did I just do? Season
C.
C? Yeah, so we did have season C in mind, because I knew that season A was just not on the cards. Like we were it was at the end of the year where everything kind of went down, and I knew that it was just not enough time. And I was literally, all my life was shambles. Like I wasn't at work. I was just getting back to work, everything like that. So logically it made sense not to do season A. And the season, when we sat down, like season C was planned out. We had all the dates when it came out, so we just aimed for that. Even though it was so long away, we had that time at the beginning of the year to regain everything and map out what we wanted to do, especially around building back mental capacity and like structure again, because structure was very important, and just finding that day-to-day balance again, after just going through something mentally a lot. But it was season B came around before season C. So it was very different. I don't know.
No, it's like it's hard. It's like you obviously had the idea to do season C because everything just kind of wasn't working out. But then it like you said, you kind of had that plan, you knew the dates, so you could really rebuild that structure, rebuild everything together to get that flow so you can bring the best version of you for season C.
It was
what do you oh no, sorry. What do you think was the biggest lesson you kind of learned when rebuilding? Because I know for myself, even when I like have like dipped out and like lost structure and routine, and then kind of getting that back, you kind of really do find that, like you said, that sense of character, and you feel everything starts to click, and you get that momentum going again. What way do you feel like that? Like when was that moment where you kind of felt leading up to doing season C where everything just felt like it like clicked back to normal?
Yeah, I think it was definitely not at the start of prep, like, and it wasn't the pre-phase either, because obviously I think that was the hardest bit, was me trying to step back into that scene, and the support from George was there all the way, because that was the hardest bit. But I think when, in terms of things clicking, it was like, I knew, coming from such a stronger season before, I knew that like my mental mindset, and that was the thing, it was learning the mental capacity around how much I can deal with and what I'm capable of. And I think using that to my advantage, and not holding back, and realizing what your strengths are, what your stamina goals are, like your determination behind things, and like those internal motivators were like small driving factors that I think I learned about myself that I didn't have, and that I didn't know that I could use in such ways. And like, it doesn't always take something bad to happen, like for those to come out and realize, but it was the fact that I didn't know that I was able to do something after going through something like that. So I think like probably when season it was, I reckon, like, it wasn't early this year, but probably around like February, March, I knew like I can lock in for this, and I know that I can do better than what I did.
Mm.
And I just knew that because of how I was training. I had such a better training, um, I would say, like just training goals at the gym. Like I
Yeah.
was much stronger. I was much more knowledgeable, from being, under George's belt and just knowing what to do and my capabilities around strength at that time, and especially technique around what building that bikini
Mhm.
frame. I just knew that it was going to work.
Yeah. There must be such almost kind of, I guess, makes like the win so much better. It's like such
Mhm.
a maybe full circle's not like the right word, but it's such a rewarding feeling. And I think even just like having that bond that you have with George too, that like would have just been so nice to kind of go,
Yeah,
after having such a difficult 2024, wanting to bring a package, kind of then refining yourself, having that support, and then it really just kind of paying off and then becoming more of yourself, becoming more confident, seeing how far you can really push yourself, seeing that, you know, it's like what they kind of say when you hit rock bottom, the only place you can go is back up. And then if you have the good mindset, you're only going to go further than where you were. And
yeah.
that's like what happened.
100%. And like, there's nothing wrong with saying a full circle moment, because I haven't, there's literally been like, my mum's been my angel above me this whole time. And there's been so many silver linings that have just fallen into place. And like, gratefully, it has come naturally, like through hard work and just like, that built in stamina, and just everything's kind of gelled together. Like, obviously, our communication with George and whatnot, and just my own respect around, taking time for myself when I need it as well. And as you said, like starting from scratch kind of thing again, because it's pretty much when you finish a prep, and then you have to, and then you decide to jump into another comp or something, or do
Yeah.
back to back show. Your body's checked out, but you mentally need to check back in,
Yeah.
type of thing. So it was like, yeah, it was a few. I don't know. I feel like really, really blessed,
Yeah.
in a way, because I put in the work, and my support was there, and like I had my angel over me, and there was so many signs along the way that just like made sense. And like I told my mum, we had that conversation, like the next time I step on stage, like I'll give it my all. And then like every single thing is like being like not based on that, but it's been a strong factor in the back of my mind. And
Yeah.
um even like, and it kind of hit deep when I jumped in surprisingly and shocked myself and did season B, because that was totally unplanned. And I am beyond blessed and grateful and shocked at how that went. But and that was the other side of jumping into that, was I don't want to let those words down in a way that I'd promised my mum, because I haven't prepped for this. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to give it my all, like, but I haven't planned to do this one. And it just, having like known that, like I didn't want to let myself down, I didn't want to let those words sit so heavy if I didn't get a good outcome,
Mm.
because I wanted to give it my all. And you know once you say those words to someone really important to you,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know that they mean a lot more than what they do.
Yes.
But yeah, it was some silver linings. Like my mom's favorite color was green, and um that's that I had no time to order or make or design a bikini or anything, or go to a fitting or anything. It was a quick, let's decide in 3 days to do this comp. So
Yeah.
peak week was a very short peak week, but I ended up hiring a bikini, and it was green, and I had no idea that what it would look like or anything. And I did try it on 3 days before, and ended up wearing it, like, and it was just that silver lining, like,
Yeah.
it wasn't my actual bikini color I'd planned to wear for even season C. So um
Just
yeah, it
a
was,
beautiful that's like, yeah, I agree. You can call that a full circle moment. It's like that
yeah.
beautiful like sign and reassurance, and then it's kind of like you just know that it was the right time, right place. It was just meant to happen, and everything else just fell into place.
Yeah, and like it was just, yeah, very, for something so last minute, it was things couldn't have like gone better, in a way that, like, we controlled what we could
Mm.
control. The things in the background were aligning, and like it turns out like I obviously did give it my all, but like that was enough on the day, and it was a super blessed feeling to know that, and like to just be like, wow, okay, step back, what just kind of happened thing. And I wasn't ready for that show, and I knew that.
Mm.
But the things that like aligned, yeah, it's super weird, but it's made me like believe in some spiritual things. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it all makes sense in that term, in terms of like that full circle moment. Definitely, yeah.
It's very, very cool. I love hearing things like that. I think it's like it just it shows like, how life is really so special, and it can that, there can be highs after lows, and
Yeah,
you just kind of got to really go with the flow, take what it is, take the lows, and it then they can make the highs just even better. And then you can learn from them and continue to grow, and then yeah, hold yourself at whatever president that you need to moving forward.
yeah, yeah. 100%. And it kind of sets a flame inside of you, like it lights you up even more. And as I said, I walked away going like, I feel like the most blessed person on earth right now. Like I cannot be more thankful and grateful for everything that's happened, like right now and like leading up to this.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what was going to happen, but everything was just like things were aligning day by day, and I'm going like, what is happening? Like all I wanted to do was just like make my mom proud and my family proud, and because I knew that I was going to make myself proud, but I knew that wasn't like my standard.
Yeah.
So um, it was great. It was really yeah, really
Really
good.
good to raise the bar again.
Yeah. Yes. Blessed.
So was the plan kind of after, doing or setting in then doing season C, was it intentional to then do like the two overseas shows, or was that kind of like on the boat? How did that kind of come about?
Yeah. So um we obviously did the state show. Again, massive show, short class, massive short class. Really competitive, which was amazing because you're going to go up against highly, competitive athletes that are only going to make you a better athlete.
Definitely.
And yeah, it was super rewarding to be competitive against that lineup. Like I look back and I'm like, holy wow, like it was like I would have not liked to be a judge.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, super blessed with that one. And then the nationals in Melbourne. So it was actually a big, like this whole season has been a huge like stepping stone for me. Show after show, I keep surprising myself. Like Melbourne was actually the first flight I'd been on my own. It sounds like I'm just a homebody, but yeah, I've never been on a flight before, and my coach did come to Melbourne with me, but I spent the first 2 nights there alone, and um, it was just like a good little learning curve type of thing. But yeah, the after that, it was I was obviously on cloud nine, post nationals, like, and then it was kind of like I don't like it feels weird to be done.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't know what else is out there right now. I knew there were the Amateur Olympiads, but I knew that we also didn't have a natural pro nationals qualifier either. So I wasn't really sure what was out there, and I knew that like I work full time as well, so I knew that if I wanted to do something, I didn't have much time to, you know, take 2 weeks off to go, accustomized to a place,
Yeah.
or like, just get over jet lag or something. Like it literally just had to be something quick. And so I had a look around, and I was like, George, New Zealand is in 3 weeks. um, and at that time, we'd had like a bit of like a week to kind of just give myself a break, and obviously like still eat my diet type of thing, but like had my post meals, everything like that. Um, and just relax on the body for a second. And then I kind of just woke up one morning and was like, I need to make a decision. Like, we don't have time here.
Yeah.
We don't have time. And I knew that I wanted to keep bringing a better package as well. So, yeah, it was do we do it? And then we kind of just like sat on it for a while, seeing how my body was responding, and just like, counting back and getting rid of the fluid and everything and inflammation and whatnot. And yeah, we ended up sending it and going over, and it was that wasn't planned until the 2 weeks. So like, yeah, the 2 weeks after nationals. And then um after the New Zealand was an amazing show. It was very different to how the Australian shows are
Yeah.
run. Like even the tea walks are different. Like just the stage lighting for bikini is different. A really good like little taste tester sampler of an overseas show
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Um, like, it was actually more of a place, more time zone to get used to rather than Japan, because Japan's only an hour behind, whereas
Yeah.
New Zealand was like, took me 2 days to realize like, okay, I'm actually caught up now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I was tired, but yeah, New Zealand, I kind of suffered quite a bit after the show. So I don't think I fly well.
Yeah.
And we took steps before Japan to like kind of balance that a little bit. We'll do the best that we could to manage that. Um, so yeah, post New Zealand was really scary for me. I got back, and the day after the show, um, like I was a bit inflamed and watery, and then we went and trained and it was all good. And the next day I woke up and my face was severely swollen, like to the point where I could not look down.
Oh, wow.
And I got on I like that was that morning, and I got up and I was like, something's so wrong. Like I literally can't see out of my eyes pretty much. And then I got on. It wasn't worse. Like it wasn't really, really bad to begin with. And then I got on the plane. And then during that time, I got home really late at night, and then got home and woke up the next morning. And my face was pretty much a watermelon.
Wow.
And it didn't go down for about 3 days.
Oh, damn.
And I went straight to like the pharmacy, and he's like, yeah, there's a few factors like all in the bubble that kind of didn't
Yeah.
really coincide with your body, especially like an immediate post show type of thing. You've gotten on a plane, and the inflammation, the water, like the weird salt and sugar intake imbalance,
Yeah.
and then being severely dehydrated was like a key thing. And it rang bells straight away, because even like that post show dinner, I barely drank, and it was silly of me, but I barely finished like a cup of water until it got to bed, and I was there sculling. But yeah, and like just paired with like really tight cabin pressure, like
Mhm.
high cabin pressure, I just
Yeah.
literally my body went into like shock.
Yeah.
And so that was quite scary, because yeah, it didn't go down for about 3 days, and I was like, what is happening? Like I couldn't be at work or anything. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so we just kind of like sat back, and I didn't train with intensity or anything. I literally went to the gym with like my hair over my face. It's feeling super uncomfortable, but yeah, we just tried to like keep things very, very minimal and like basic. And then I knew Japan was coming up, and the I just wanted to see how my body was going, because
Yeah.
again, we didn't have much time between the shows, and it was. I probably decided to do Japan about 2 weeks out, or a week and a half out.
Mhm.
Um, Knowing, again, like I had to register, I had to book flights, I had to book accommodation, and do all of that pre-planning stuff. But yeah, so we knew like my body had to rebound from that. So it was difficult trying to like look at my check-ins going, I feel inflamed, I feel all of this, but in a way like my body was actually responding to a fuller look
Mhm.
that post show. Like weight wasn't changing, but physically like my body composition was
Yeah.
looking a tighter but fuller way. And I guess your body turns that direction like from such a long season,
Yeah.
or a long unintentional season.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was really good in terms of like, the efforts George went to in terms of taking the best manageable steps to to get on that flight, to be able to manage that flight over there and not blow up afterwards
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
get off. Because I only had 2 days until the show. And
Okay.
one was like the flying day. um, so yeah, and he like reached out to his coach. They did like some studies and like, just had a fair bit of, like just little protocols around what to
Yeah.
do. And yeah, he ended up quickly asking me, what seat did you end up booking? And I was like, well, duh, like a window seat, like it's a long flight. And he's
Yeah.
like, go change it to an aisle seat now. And like at the back of the plane, I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And I was like, why? Like just so like blasé. And he's like, I'm gonna waterload you on your flight. I was like, oh no. How long is this flight again? And then like we had a very high step count. It was about like 14 or 13,000 steps on the plane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And about 6 or 5 liters of water on the plane.
Wow.
So it happened. They got it done, but like it
Yeah.
happened naturally because I would digest a meal. I'd get up, I'd do
Yeah.
some stretching, I'd get up and walk, and there's actually a lot of room at the back of the plane, so it wasn't actually as big of an issue as what it sounds like when you're spitting out those
Yes.
numbers. But
Especially if you haven't like done it yet. It's a bit intimidating.
yeah, yeah, and I was like, got offered the bolognese on the plane. I'm like, what is this? Like, is someone setting this up as well? Like, I'm being waterloaded right now. um, but yeah, so like small things like that we did to manage, which was good for a larger international show. Again, like
Yeah.
I was there on that was it was very mentally big for me to overcome because that was I'd never been overseas on my own before, and to do my peak week alone, to stay at the accommodation alone, to travel on my own, to, you know, try and communicate with, the Japanese
Yeah.
and try and do everything on my own was such a learning curve and like such a you can do it moment. And then
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
that happened, I was like, I did that. Like I can do that. And
Yeah.
especially in a peak week with added stress, like I can do that.
It's would it be such like a cool like realization and moment of just kind of going like I did that. I was
Yeah.
able to do it. I proved myself that I can
Oh,
give it
it's
my
just like,
all and do more than what I expected. It's like kind of just being like this domino effect of you continuously improving, showing
yeah,
yourself, showing up, making that statement and going, proving like you said, you to your mom and that you're going to next time you step on stage, give it your all. And you really
yeah.
did. And then you even went overseas.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
cool.
It was like the growth behind that and like the unintentional growth. It was just, if you don't do it, you don't know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like I'm just winging it as I go. And, if I literally would just ask, even though like, they'd speak Japanese back to you, I'd just be like, try and communicate. But, yeah, you don't do it, you don't know. So at that point, I had nothing to lose. And yeah, I just wanted to bring another good package and look better than what I did. And if it was something similar, I was very happy because I knew my body had been under such a long stress for a long time. And, it was something that I could control the certain things, but the things I couldn't control were just out of my control. But yeah, it was the whole growth thing. It was like, wow, like there's actually been quite a lot of growth this season mentally and like obviously physically, but mentally, like, regarding all aspects of
Yeah.
life, which was, makes you feel limitless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely like made this season the biggest one yet, left
Yeah,
it intact, and then really setting yourself up for like next year and like like you said, really proving to yourself, anything is capable and you can do it. And you've
yeah,
done it alone.
yeah.
Was it cool, I guess, doing all of this kind of alone and then going to the Japan show, and I know there was a few other Aussie girls competing in the bikini lineup. So was that really nice kind of, I guess, seeing them backstage and connecting there? Because obviously, like you said, it can be a bit hard kind of trying to communicate.
Yeah.
I've been to Japan and I cannot even imagine trying to be on prep in my like third
Oh,
or fourth competition, trying to like talk and communicate and the stress that must be trying
yeah.
to organize things by yourself. Like I commend you for
Yeah,
that.
thank you. It took me not until the last day that I learned how to read the actual train maps. So the
So
day that I didn't
confusing.
actually need to. So um but yeah, as I said, it was just like it was full on, and I knew it would be full on. Like I'd heard Japan was full on, but just the whole additive of the peak week and whatnot, and
Mm.
having to, get from A to B and everything. But like even staying close to the venue where those things are controlled. So um, yeah, having those other Aussies there backstage was really good because obviously they knew I'd like just done New Zealand and stuff as well, and we've had such a good the girls that did go over there, we've had such a good relationship with as well, especially like the girls in my class as well. So it was really good the support back there, and like we both knew we were both going to be there, and it was good because a lot of them had done like some overseas shows as well, or a small portion of them. But yeah, it was good to be able to all know that like we're here and we've come from that national show as well, and we've all built
Mhm.
another few couple weeks, and we've all improved like that as well. And we all sat together backstage, and it was kind of like a really good moment for everyone to be like, this is the Aussies, like
Yeah,
we're here.
we're here. It's
Yeah.
really heartwarming and like wholesome. We've made it. We've brought better packages. It's
Yeah,
cool.
literally it was. And it was such a different, like it was such a huge show. And yeah, it was something obviously I walked into going, I have nothing to lose here. Like everything was going well. Like it was, yeah, it was just a huge show. And I think that's what I went in wanting though, because I wanted a huge experience. I wanted to be out of my comfort zone and like to get that amateur Olympia like entertainment, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's that extra level without going pro level.
Yeah.
But it's also like a good line to be in against other people that you would never step next to
Yeah. And
Australia. So yeah,
I think it's also great to be able to kind of go after having the success that you were having here to then really go, okay, cool. Now I'm going to go into a show where we'll have a bit of people from all over the world. And
yeah,
now where do I stand? And now, okay, cool. This is what I got to do to either level up to win that pro card or, okay, cool. So this is what I can take from that. So what I kind of want to know two things. One is what was like the biggest standout difference between because you already said the show was different in New Zealand.
yeah.
Did it then compare in Japan? And then how did you find, because I've always heard that a lot of people that have competed overseas that the judging and the feedback that they get can be different. Was that
Yeah.
something you also experienced for yourself?
I think the biggest like the difference between the shows itself was definitely um like just the whole it was run very, very um dysfunctional backstage, in a way in terms of like not like heavily dysfunctional, but in a way of like there's there was no translator. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was just a big rush. Like your coach, there was no restrictions around coaches being next to you literally until you step on stage, and things like that really become hard like for other athletes to even
Mm,
pump up because there's no room.
yeah,
And yeah, I think New Zealand and Japan, obviously, the competition was much bigger, in terms of the amount of athletes, um, and not so. Oh, there were a lot of sharper figures in Japan, very more petite and sharper and different looks, versus New Zealand. I think New Zealand had a good variety of like competition looks, which was good because you knew where you stood against different types of figures and whatnot. Um, and yeah, going against the Japanese and the other girls in that were at the amateur was much larger in an aspect of your overall setting against 80 other girls,
yeah, yeah.
type of thing. So yeah, I think that was the biggest thing was just like the level of competition and the amount of people. It was a lot to be like, oh my gosh, there's so many of us type of thing. And that's where you can lose confidence real easy because you're like, wow, there's how like how are they gonna, how are you gonna measure up against so many people? Like, how are
Yeah,
you gonna stand out? What are you
yeah.
gonna do? Um, and it was just, yeah, it was. it was a lot, but in a good way, because it made you need to do something to stand out
Mm.
and realize, yeah, this is it.
This is the make or break it.
Yeah, yeah, a lot.
What so what would you say kind of the big massive takeaway has been from this season and what you're going to kind of do coming into next year or whenever you
Mm.
kind of step on stage again? Like, what's, I guess, have you had time to kind of, take it all in yet, reflect, talk to George about what's happened? Because, you've learned a lot of stuff to do with flying now that you've experienced
Yeah,
that issues and
yeah,
kind of, having good success, really.
yeah.
Where does that kind of look moving forward?
We have like debriefed, and I think it's just like understanding that my body's I've put my body through a long period of time under stress that I didn't think I would be putting my body under that long. But I think like the key takeaway is like, you know, if you can manage and have a good relationship with your coach and have that, not, I mean, like you can have that stamina to wanting to do better, but it's the realization between like, if you know what, you know, if you don't do it, you don't know. So at that same time, it's like, if you want more, go and get more.
I love that.
um, and the takeaway, yeah, that is the takeaway, because at the like, having said that, like if I didn't decide to do it, I would have regretted it straight
Yeah.
away. And that's instantly why I thought, you know what, my coach isn't going over with me. And that was a huge thing. Like I was like, how am I going to do this? And like, maybe a few months ago, I would have been like, there's no way. Like,
Mm.
there's no way I'm doing this without my coach there. But like that growth, and it's believing in yourself as well. Like, I still don't believe like some certain capabilities of myself, and it's come to a shock. And like, even with my posing coach, it's like she's like, you need to believe, like you need to believe it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's just certain things where I need to literally just grasp it. But it's just like, I'm just a small gal. That's just how I roll. But yeah, that's where I probably could grow, is believing it a bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
And like really using that. But and that's like literally what made me do season B, was like people joking about it at the gym to me and George, and then Corinne sitting me down going like, you should really consider it. And that was like a 3-day decision. But it was those external factors going, we see potential, you need to
Mm.
believe it, type of thing. And yeah, so if you don't know, you don't do it, you don't know. So that's the whole, everything that I've done is I've just done it, because if I didn't, then I would never know, and I had nothing to lose.
That's
So
right.
apart from my bank account money.
Yeah. Something's there's gotta be a scale. Something's gotta kind of depreciate.
Exactly. But I was like, you know what? Money comes around. I work full time, so it's
That's
fine.
right. That's right. And look, we make the money and we work hard so we can do things and experience
Yeah.
life and
Yeah.
really, like you said, I love that that's kind of the biggest reflection from this season is like, and I think that's so important for anybody, which is like, you're not going to know until you do something. And even if you fail, it's a
Mm.
learning experience. And then, the more times you try, you are going to eventually succeed. Or in
Yeah.
some cases, like, for yourself, you're able to succeed straight away. And then there's such a bigger reward from seeing what
Yeah.
you're able to achieve.
Yeah. And I think like knowing what, like the outcomes that have happened this season have been so, like I've felt so grateful and blessed, and like the amount of support, like it's been global.
Mm.
And like I would have never expected that. And it's been crazy. Like, having Amy comment on your photos, like what?
Yeah.
Like just small things like that. It's like, okay. Um, but yeah, I think like taking everything, the growth wise, into that next season just becomes like another stepping stone, but like from scratch.
Yeah.
Because like it's a foundation. So I only want to build from scratch. And being a natural athlete, like there's only certain levels that your body can naturally reach, and it's building upon that and like using that to be like, okay, we reached this standard last time, let's use that and keep going more, because now we know what works, and we know, you know, how your body adapts to these exercises, these foods, everything like this. Because yeah, training is going to change, food is going to
Yeah.
change, so it's like just different things. But yeah, I think it was even like even learning, everyone would always say like you've got a look now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. 100%.
there's
Yeah.
this look that you've got, and
Yeah.
like even learning, and like I just do what I do. Like Japan, I did my own makeup and like everything like that. But
That's
like
so cool.
at the same time, like, it's a look that you're accustomed to, and
Mhm.
that look signifies you, and like that identifies you in a way now as well. So it's learning that like I can use that and use what I've created. And like, if people like it, they like it, and I'm just doing me.
Yeah. No, that's
But
that's the best way to be. It's like you've really been able to kind of, rebuild that character that you're wanting to do and kind of really come into yourself and, doing those overseas shows, put yourself in a position where now you're out there, people recognize you and you have built like, in my opinion, a physique that is 100% worthy to go pro. So it's like you now it's just kind of you're starting at that point where it's like you said, you're kind of going, all right, well, this is the next standard. I'm like, I'm on the door. The door's there. I
yeah,
can see it. So now it's just let's build that little gap left to kind of open that door and
yeah,
step
yeah.
into that stage.
Yeah, and like that's exactly in terms of what I mean. Like training's going to level up in like certain different little ways, like not majorly different ways, but like that pro word has been in my ear from many many different people and avenue and coaches and whatnot this season, and like it would be a dream. But yeah, as I said, it's built a certain standard now for myself, and like to believe in that standard
Mm,
and see what the gap is.
mm.
Yeah, what that
That-
gap is. And George is very responsive to that, and
yeah,
it's very like, he's got the knowledge and I've got the trust, and he's got the trust to be like, look, you don't need to take a huge off season.
yeah,
Like thankfully and gratefully, like this season has given me that time and that outlook to build that character for myself that I can build upon now in a really good way. And like, it is really good to see and to reflect on that and just realize that all your hard work pays off. Like, as I said, I'm just a small gal doing me, like filling my water bottle up 5 times a day type of thing. But it's, yeah, just it's good to know that at heart. It
yeah,
really
yeah.
is.
I think what's also really nice to hear is that, and I think it's support. I was talking to someone else on a different podcast about this, and it was kind of like he was in a boat where, he's very hard on himself, but he's finally in a situation, a place, an environment where he is supported with the people around him that is kind of helping him realize, you know, he can be a good athlete. He can kind of, he has what it's got. He's need to now stop the negative self-talk and
Yeah.
then really kind of come into who, he's meant to be or his physique. And it sounds like, like with George, with Kareen and, other supportive people around you, they're kind of going, you've built this person, this is who you are. Now
Step into it.
step into it, believe it in yourself, and then just watch everything unfold.
Yeah. And like that's exactly how it feels. And like I'm still grasping that feeling. Just because it's been like such a few shows, and yeah, I think like I've literally delved into every experience this season just with a I don't know what's gonna happen type of thing. But yeah, there's been a lot of silver linings, like which has been very, very amazing. And I feel, as I said, I feel so, so blessed that it's happened like this. And even small things, like it may not, it's actually not small, but like, like I've been going to the same lady at Fit Angel for my bikinis, and she reached out to make me that pink bikini for Japan. So even small things
That's
like,
awesome.
having that, I was I would be honored to,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's such an amazing thing, and we nail the vision every time. So it was like small, it's not small, but like things like that in such, an environment, you feel the people reach out with effort, and
Yeah,
they're reaching out because they want to reach out to you, and
yeah.
it's like you've made an impact. That's why they're reaching out, and you got to sit back and believe that, and
Mhm.
like really reflect that, like, you know you may not know these people, but like you're impacting them somehow.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice feeling at heart. Yeah.
It's like a domino effect of the energy that you're carrying yourself in and putting out there. People are receiving that and
Yeah.
giving it back to you. And then, you're kind of all filling each other's cups in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, they're filling my cup. And then, it's just something that feels really nice and warm at the
Mm.
end of the day. Like it you got to believe it, and like when it comes to an end, it's kind of hard to wrap up and or put a bow on it type of thing,
Yeah.
but it's the whole like, I walk past the crown and it's like, what?
I did that. I got that.
Yeah,
Wow.
like that's random, but like, wow, like I did that, and
Yeah.
like people saw that happened, and I was capable of that, and it's just like you got to stand back and believe it
Mm.
sometimes, and realize you can be capable of those things, even if you are just a small girl. But
Unreal.
yeah, so I'll definitely try and take all of those. There's so much growth this season that
Yeah.
like literally, like the next step for me is just doing the same but in more, like there's no different, there's no special recipe to these things. It's like the day in day out work that kind of makes it. So yeah, it's just nailing that. And me and George have such a good relationship. It's just going to be like, where can we
Where can we go from
skyrocket
here?
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's exciting. It's
It
exciting. Well, one
is.
last question to kind
Yeah.
of wrap things up. I guess you've kind of touched on it a little bit with just what we're talking about now. So if you have a different, I guess, if you want to more lean it towards, I guess, advice that you'd want to give to anyone listening, but the actual question is kind of because I like wrapping the podcast up on allowing you, the guest, to share like what your current life mantra is right now, like how you kind of, taking each day, and hopefully anyone listening can, apply that to
Yeah.
themselves and, connect. So, yeah, how would you, I guess, from this point onwards be kind of leading each day? What advice would you give, or yeah, how are you kind of going into every day?
Yeah, I think obviously it's going to be different for every person, but like the way that I like to look at it, like you wake up, you can control what you can control. Like if you can control what you can control, then it's only going to lead to what more you can do to better that. So like you can do your daily routine, but like how can you plus one that
Yeah.
in a way? Like how can you can have a conversation with someone, even if it's in sales, you can have a conversation, but what follow-up question are you going to ask?
Mm.
Like how can you build from that? So I think it's like, naturally don't let opportunities like slip because if you, as I said, you don't do it, you don't know. So um yeah, I think it's just waking up and realizing, yeah, you can still do your basics, but like do a bit more.
Yeah. It's kind of it's
Do a
kind of
bit
like
more.
it's kind of like that, put in your 100% effort and see what happens, and then just know that there's just that always that extra 1% that you never know what door it could open, where it
Yeah,
could take you, how it could affect you, how it
yeah.
could help the other people around you.
And that's
Uh,
like the unknowns have been like limitless. So
yeah.
like unless you do, you have to be curious. And that's like probably one of the main things is like just be curious, because again, like being curious is, if it doesn't get you in a good spot, then you're going to learn from it. And if it
Mm.
does, then you're only going to go further. So yeah. And
Such a great mindset to have.
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Curious Mac.
that's a good nickname.
Yeah, it was actually, I get a lot like a during actually during this season, like a lot of I can't actually remember, but George said something when he was watching the live stream for Japan. And he goes, how on earth, like, I'm pretty sure they did not say Mercedes. I think they said, like, they did not say your name right.
Yeah.
Like, it was very, very weird. I was like, it was in one ear, out the other for me. Like, I just heard my number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was like, yeah, watching the live, I did not know you were on stage because they did not say your name, like,
Yeah.
properly.
That's funny. That's funny.
But yeah, good times, really
Yeah.
good times. Very
Well,
grateful for the season.
definitely one to remember, one for the history books. You've made your name, you've made a mark, you've left a statement, and it's only up from here. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of people looking out for where you're going to be next on stage. And I guess
Yeah,
eventually, hopefully, a pro stage.
I
So
know. And
exciting.
that's like a big, like obviously a big driving factor and motivator is like this whole, as I said, the support, the recognition this season, like it all stems and it all grows from here. And it's like, I can't, it makes me so excited for the next time and having all of that support and knowing like that you're making an impact and like, people only want to see you do well, is something so rewarding and so, warm again,
Yeah.
but it's something that you didn't know you could do. So it's like, you can't wait to do more and you can't wait to do better. So, yeah, well, I'm excited.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
excited.
That's
Yeah.
what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for chatting. It's been absolutely amazing, and I've enjoyed it. And I'm excited for everyone to listen to what you've had to say.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I feel so blessed and welcome. And thanks for reaching out. Again, I was like, oh, he wants to talk.
Yeah.
I've
My
got lots
pleasure.
to
My
say.
pleasure. Yes. No,
Lots of
you did it.
stuff.
You did way better than what I'm sure you felt at the beginning. You aced it. You would never have known that you hadn't done a podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's obviously very different, but at the same time, once you start yapping, good luck
Yeah.
trying to stop me.
Yes, I understand that all too well. I'm like that.
Oh, funny. All
But
good. Thank you so much for having me. Really, really grateful. Honored.
my pleasure. Thank you again and have a good rest of the night.